On several different areas, they're actually in the system, the schools actually go into the ESS system, and that one was correct. The one out on the web was not correct.
Yeah, I actually ended up printing them both.
And then
The Word
the
document.
numbers were in
Yeah.
all different places.
So do you think,
So it was updated, I checked all of it this morning.
do you think there are districts that would have used the form that said your best guess, or do you think all the districts?
No, when they go into the system, they would have the correct form in front of them in the
Okay.
system.
So
But
these
yeah,
numbers,
That's awesome.
these numbers that say like 2,000, that sounds like it's probably all.
It's the count of homeschoolers.
Oh, yeah.
And as
Those
of
that
a couple
have
days ago,
established
there
programs,
was
that's what it
two
says in the
versions
system.
of it.
And the
That one got cleaned up.
programs that were, what's the
I have
word?
the two.
So it just says that.
Like notified in that particular
The new version.
year.
Because you're not being able
So-
to.
That's what they were told, and they were
So this now.
when they went to collect the new the
Wait,
numbers
this is
that
the
they
old, record
had,
your best estimate.
there were instructions also, is that's all they were supposed to report.
So-
Okay, so then, there's something like 2,000,
Oh, okay. And that's the.
those would be new homeschoolers then.
When they began collecting the numbers again, they were
Yeah.
asking just for those that had filed it in intent that year.
Because that's a big number for one.
That's a
Huge
huge
estimate,
number.
it's really good.
Mhm.
But it's certainly possible.
Mhm.
That's what I was, or some of us are trying to figure out, is that a real number for 1 year, or is that based on a misunderstanding? But from what
I
you're
didn't
telling
double
me.
check again with Gretchen, but in the system, she showed me, because I said to her, I was so shocked when I saw the email, because it was quite some time ago, she actually sent me the form.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, okay, we were all set, that was in the ESS system.
Yeah,
So when I indicated, I did a screenshot to show her exactly where I looked, and the form did not, correspond to the instructions.
okay.
So they went in and they fixed it. And then I mentioned that I see there's a separate form for non-public, and that needs to be put in there as well.
Mhm.
That they're only supposed to report those that had filed a letter of intent
Right.
that particular year.
Okay. Because I was surprised, I had gone online.
I didn't realize they were
Got
in
this.
various places myself.
I got this one that said, your best guess, and I thought, huh? So, Kitty and I
Yeah,
looking,
I was a little shocked at that too.
good.
These
I'm glad
forms are in
that's-
so many locations, it's hard to keep track of them all, I imagine. But thank you so much for doing that.
yeah,
Um,
Thank you.
Well, for a long time, we hadn't been a participating agent per se at the department either, and we have been the last few years.
Mhm.
And they were not aware of that, so those numbers are not in there.
Oh, great. Thank you. All right, for the- George has been putting countless hours into these rules. We've met a couple of times.
memorized by now.
Probably has them memorized by now. Attorney Sella has been such a pleasure to work with. He's really willing to just help us out in any way he can, make this easier on homeschoolers, which has been wonderful. I apologize that this is the first time that you're all seeing them, and I think maybe we should meet in April. For anyone who doesn't feel like it's a good idea to vote on them today, because you are just seeing them for the first time today.
Yeah,
So if, one other thing I would like to bring up is meeting in April on, ooh, I didn't write that date down.
there's a preset date.
There is a preset date,
Be the fourth Thursday, whatever that is.
indeed, 1, 2, 3, the 25th. I won't be here though. So I can, it is school vacation week. So we might be able to maybe meet on the 18th, if that works better.
Sometimes there's a problem finding a meeting space when
Oh,
we try. That's why we just set up these,
Okay. Ahead of time,
but there's no reason you couldn't check and see
okay,
if we have space on the 18th available.
okay. Yeah, because most people will probably be gone since it's school vacation week. I don't know if I just went somewhere.
I could be here that day.
On the 25th or the
Yes.
18th? The
The
25th.
25th
Okay,
is better.
okay,
We may have session,
Right.
We don't know yet.
but we don't know yet.
okay.
We don't know if we're, no, we don't. Yeah, the 4th.
Does anyone else have a vote on which day would be better as far as 18th or 25th? 25th would be
The
better.
18th, I have another meeting at the same time, the 25th, I have no idea what I'm doing. I think I'm working that week, but
Okay.
anything could
And
happen.
we won't be on vacation, that's for sure.
But George has graciously volunteered to come back as chair for that meeting, since I can't be there. But you're welcome. So we can talk about that in new business, but George, take it away with the rules update.
Okay. Now, you all remember that I said there was a reason that I was stepping aside as chairman. Well, this is one of them. You know, it should have occurred to me to send these updates to the whole council. I've been sending them to the members of the committee, but for some stupid reason, it occurred to me to send them to the whole council. Okay, so what you've got in front of you is, I basically took Attorney Sala's document where he had a bunch of suggested changes. His changes are in blue, and the changes that the committee recommended are in red. Just to give you an idea of, who came up with what. Then, last night, when I was trying to finish this up, I found some notes that I had made, because there were a few other places that needed correcting, nothing major, but I think it's just as well if we meet in April about it. That way everybody gets a chance to look at all of the changes. And we can't have discussions on the phone about this, but you can call me and tell me, and I just can't go back and forth and say, well, yeah, I think it's a good idea. If I just hear from you, that's okay. But we can't have a kind of round robin discussion on the phone. No?
The black crossouts, were those the attorney's recommendation too, right?
You know what, I couldn't figure out a way to do that. Some of the cross-outs are ours,
Okay.
and some of them are the attorneys. If I could have done a red cross-out and a black cross-out, without changing the colors underneath.
Oh, right.
I would
Would it
have
be
done
right to say a lot of the cross-outs or changes were proposed in the first place by the attorney and he
Yes.
just said, yes, that's
Yeah.
fine?
Yeah,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of hard to
basically
tell.
how it went, because I don't remember
Yes.
crossing out that whole bunch.
I like the certificate one, that's about time that gets changed, because that sounds way more formal than just a letter, and, that sounds very professional, and I think that's, the way it should be. And the number K, that holds a teaching credential issued by the New Hampshire State Board of Education. I have to tell you that it came up in our committee about how far we were gonna push, what do you call that, the fingerprinting thing,
Oh,
background check.
background check.
Criminal background checks. Someone brought it up in committee, well, what about charter schools, what about homeschoolers? Do we have, do all people, well, if you get a teaching credential, you automatically get fingerprinted.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the only catch, like if you want someone to teach your kids, if they have a teaching credential, or, they'll have been fingerprinted, but that never was included in the law. But it's something that you may come forward about home education, but right now, that went away.
Okay.
So, but it did
Wow.
cover, charter schools, and, which they do it already.
Mhm.
And the public schools, my God, the janitor, the guy that takes out the trash has to have his fingerprints now. So, which is not a bad thing, it doesn't hurt. But there's been a lot of discussion about that, and it's ongoing. I think the bill that we passed was sort of like satisfied for now.
Well, the background check for certification got retained.
Oh, that's right, we're still working on it.
Okay.
Sorry,
No.
it got retained. So you may hear something about that.
Okay.
So does that mean, say a lot of the evaluators for homeschoolers are homeschooling parents themselves who have teaching certificates? does that mean now,
Yeah.
according to our new
These-
definition, they might have to be fingerprinted
Yeah,
before
these would be
they?
New,
new applicants for.
Okay, so they would be grandfathered in? and-
Yes, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
That's a good clarification.
Anyway, what we tried to do with this revision, the last couple of times the rules were revised, they weren't really like gone through thoroughly to make sure everything still fit together. So that's one of the things that we were looking at this time is, let's do it so it's not just, we're gonna fix this section, or we gotta take this word out. We tried to look at the rules as a whole and make sure everything fit together better. Like I said, there were a few things that I ran across last night. It's mostly substituting the word participating agency whenever it says commissioner in our public school and local district. Instead of having that whole verbiage, we put in participating agency. But I was gonna have a vote on that today, but if we're gonna meet in April, it's probably better just to give everybody a chance to look at this good and thoroughly. And like I said, any of you are welcome to call me with comments, or you can email, but sometimes it's easier to do it on a phone call, because then I can ask questions. You can't have, I can say, well, that's a great idea, I think we'll do that, because then that becomes an unauthorized meeting. But I can take input and I can ask you what you mean, whereas with an email, sometimes you gotta go back and forth 3 or 4 times trying to figure out, okay, what is it that you really mean by this? So that's why I like a phone call. For example, one of the things we did in the notification section and the evaluation section, we rearranged the paragraphing so that it flows better, things that go together, and things that are like subject to a certain concept, they're grouped together. Notification, it had a bunch of different paragraphs that were like all on the same, they were all numbered as separate paragraphs. And what I suggested, and other people made their suggestions too, was, for example, paragraph A has to do with notification in 315.04. Paragraph A is notification related. Paragraph B is what happens once the notification has been received. Paragraph C is that the homeschool program, once it's established, it stays in existence, even if you have to transfer it. You're not doing a new notification. The program continues. So paragraph C has to do with the continuation of the program. And paragraph D has to do with the termination of a program by the parent. And so some of these have subsections because there are different steps that come into the picture. Like paragraph A has 5 subparagraphs, and one of those subparagraphs has 4 of those sections. That way there, everything, when you're looking at it, it's less confusing. You know what the steps are and what's involved in each of the steps. And then there were some language changes. Some of them were suggested by the attorney after we met with him, after we'd had a couple of meetings. Then with the evaluation, 315.07, what we did there was to more closely resemble the statute. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to 315.4 for a minute. The title got changed from notification to notification and other procedural requirements, because that's the way the statute has it. And there are other things in here, they pertain to notification, but they're not notification itself. It's like, what happens if a notification is incomplete? You know, what happens if you want to transfer a program? So they're all related to notification, but they're not notification in and of itself. So that's why that was changed. In the section on evaluation, that was put into 3 basic paragraphs. Paragraph C is not indented right. I couldn't get the machine to do what I wanted it to do. But there are 3 paragraphs. 1 paragraph for each type of evaluation. So paragraph A deals with standardized testing of various sorts. Paragraph B deals with portfolio, and paragraph C deals with the other valid measurement setup. So that it flows more smoothly. There are fewer major paragraphs, and the things that are subject to each paragraph have been kind of indented so that it, you know, it flows better. Then under certificate of completion, it's hard to say, it's hard to remember who proposed everything, but certificate of completion, and I give credit to Steph for that, because the way it was worded before, that's 315.15, the last page, the way it was previously worded was kind of cumbersome. And this way here, it's